10-4, Forkers. Call sign Sea Monkey here, as always, to deliver the truth and nothing but it. Last week, Clinton, Mikey, and Lark took a stand against corporate America. They harassed an intern at the Harvest Festival who was handing out flyers on behalf of Malone Realty, who was soliciting the sale of property in town. Nobody really knows why. On the other hand, Turner Renfro is attempting to make the old cannery into a bougie hotel which he plans to call Moon Fork Lodge. Mikey investigated some plans at the construction site that uncovered a connection between Ted Malone and Renfro. The two moguls are interested in playing up Moon Fork's spooky history, perhaps for money, perhaps for darker reasons, but there's not much darker than money, folks. Still, our heroes have more pressing matters to deal with. In a matter of hours, the town is going to gather together under the Swales to watch a campy horror movie. That's a lot of brains in one place. The monster from the diner is likely to strike again, and if nothing is done about it, we'll have a great tragedy on our hands. Oh, also Paige Lark hid a monster carcass in her locker, but there's a riddle on the lock. I'm on the edge of my seat here in this little shack by the Upper Crab River. Not even sipping on this ice-cold brew is calming me down. Guess it's time to see what happens. Onward, into strangeness and adventure. Sea Monkey out. Hello and welcome to Moon Fork. It's an actual play Monster of the Week podcast inspired by Twin Peaks. Folks, let's introduce ourselves and our characters real quick before we give a little bit of a rundown of what this session is likely going to entail.
What is up? I am Jack. I play Lark.
Hello. This is Tyler playing Clinton.
This is Tommy playing Mystic Mikey.
All right, so folks, we are walking back from the dilapidated cannery. Well, not dilapidated anymore. It's getting turned into the Moon Fork Lodge by the person that caught you there. Turner Renfro turned you away. Really didn't like Mystic Mikey, but took a bit of a liking to Lark, it seemed like. So that was an interesting interaction. You're on the way back to the festival, or you're going in that direction down Granite Lane. There's a few hours until nightfall, and so the way I envision this is you have some time to, make any preparations you would like before the scary movie night, and that's a situation where a lot of the townsfolk will be gathered together in one place, so it's a particularly vulnerable situation. So you can do research. We can also kind of like freeze time, and you can talk just. It doesn't even need to be in character, just talking about like logistics of how you're maybe thinking of dealing with a potential attack. But this time is yours. You can move about the town, gather information, or form a plan, whatever you all would like. And then we can kind of unfreeze time or fast forward.
I was thinking, because I remember a couple episodes back when we were trying to figure out how to deal with the monster. It was either using a weapon or something made from its own, like flesh and blood, or I don't remember exactly how you said it, Johnny, but you can use what it wants, like to consume or whatever, against it. And I don't really know how we would go about doing that, but I'm thinking like, especially after our first encounter where I'm trying to like swing my flashlight at him to no avail, it might be possible, I don't know how or who, but try to trap the monster in some way, shape, or form, because it doesn't seem like it's like phasing in and out of being. It seems like it's kind of, you can hold it physically, maybe. And and we do know what it's interested in. So I don't really know exactly how we'd go about doing that, but it might be, better to risk, someone's, immediate well-being compared to everyone else. I don't know.
Yeah, and so to give just a recap on that front, it was like talking about the gatherer type monsters, and the way that the thing that you read in the logbooks that the Helms folk had done in the past to catch that type of monster is basically like use what it wanted to, like you said, set a trap, or even one step further, like physically affect it, right? So in the case of, we talked about the thief, which was like this creature that could make tentacles come out of its body kind of at will, and it was stealing first toasters and then human hands. When it got to human hands and there was started to be like a public health crisis because people were losing their hands in town, what the Helms folk did was they actually used a like hand that they had like commissioned from, or like basically the person that did the medical examinations for corpses in town like was part of the Helms folk, and they like took a hand off of a body to lure the thief somewhere, right? So it's like it's thinking about, either baiting the trap with that, or in this case there might be even one step further, but I need y'all to figure that out. I'm not going to give it to you, but that was what you read in the logbooks.
I wonder if there's any like record of those medical examinations or something like that. Like, I have no idea how we'd attempt to access those. I mean,
Yeah, well, plus,
we-
do we know if the medical examiner is the same person from back in the day, or is it someone new?
So it's actually there. You would know, folks who have been in the town, so Lark and Clinton would know that it's actually like the Dr. Kip Chetty that was part of the Helms folk back in the day is now, it's their daughter is the medical examiner, or like the doctor in town, right? So Adrian Kipchetti is the current doctor and medical examiner, and their father, George Kipchetti, was the one before her.
I think
But
that would
at
be an
this
interesting
point-
person to go talk to.
I was going to say, like, we do already know what the monster's after, and we do kind of
Right.
know, Mikey, that you do have access to some of those brains somehow. So maybe like 6 brains in one jar is more appealing than one brain,
All we
think
know
we-
is a single brain.
Yeah, I think we established that I had one brain in my fully loaded cargo shorts, not like an infinite supply of formaldehyde brains.
But if you wanted to
shot
roll
peppers.
your thing again, preparedness, you could say I have 6 brains, but then we would have to do that again.
Well, I think the thing I'm worried about is like, okay, we trap this thing. This is like an infinitely powerful, like ethereal being that maybe is, has a corporeal body or whatever that can just bite an adult human being in half like anytime it wants. Like, even if we're somehow able to trap this thing, I don't know what we're going to be able to do after that, So like, I think we kind of need to be prepared to fight or otherwise discourage this thing, even if we are able to entrap it in like a cage or whatever.
I think maybe I need to talk to my flame spirit from beyond Krakoa and try to communicate and see if they have any ideas about harnessing the great power of this beast. Maybe it's a split up situation, and someone goes to talk to the procurer of human body parts, and I can go talk and see if there's any ideas from beyond the realm.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I think additionally, like the reason I was thinking lean towards trap is because as far as I know, the only way we're going to kill this guy is opening this lockbox using this riddle. And I am currently stumped by the riddle. So
Yeah.
Well, there's two ways to kill it, right? It has 2 weaknesses, but you just haven't figured out one of them, and the other one is locked behind
Yeah.
a riddle.
I bet the answer to the riddle is also very obvious, and we just cannot think of the answer to.
It's not that obvious, I will
Okay.
say.
Fair
It's not right there in front of you, but it is. It's solvable.
It's solvable. Yeah.
Something only an ornithologist would know.
Yeah, surely.
You don't need any ornithology knowledge. I'll give you that.
I mean, is there any downside to just trying some combinations on this floor locker? I mean, we could just.
Yes, if you try two wrong, like let's say there's a button beneath the combinations, two wrong presses of the button will lock it for good.
Got it. Okay.
So you only have 2 tries.
Okay.
Also, I think I'm just gonna take this time, like y'all would know this since you live in the town. I'm just gonna take this time to like list off basically the different places you could go if
Sure.
you did want to do like some research. In addition to like, this is what I have planned, and it's also in our best interest, I think, for you all to help like build the fiction of the town. So
Yeah.
it's like, if there's a business or like say the doctor's office, like I don't have that down. Like if you want to place that on the map and like imagine that together, I mean, doctor's office doesn't need imagining, but if you wanted like a specific store or like another quirky museum or what have you, a restaurant, like,
Yeah.
I would love to hear those ideas and develop them together. But basically what I have down as far as like the locations that you can go: Valentine's, where we've already been; the sheriff's office, where you've already been; the ranger station, which Clinton was close to when in kind of the prologue, when he disturbed the first potential crime scene, but haven't been in there. The cannery, where y'all have been; Beaks Lamp State Forest, which is kind of ubiquitous; the Swales, where you've been; Moonfork High School, haven't been there, I would say, luckily, particularly in the case of the 2 grown adult people. Ona's Place, which is a coffee roastery and like natural sourdough bakery, like pretty bougie. But it is run by like a local and a native, so it's not like a business that's come in. It's like she started her business in the place where she was born, and that's run by someone named Ona, hence Ona's Place. And then there's the Percolator Museum, which you've met Ramon, who runs it, but you haven't been. The Moonfork Curling Club, which if you remember is like both a curling rink. I don't know if that's what it's called. And I made a whole big deal of that the last time we recorded. It's both a curling club and a like the place where people go to get drinks. And then there's also the Comet Lodge, which is like the one functioning hotel. And that's where the protesters at the festival were from. And then in addition to that, like I said, there's everyone's house and any other places that y'all want to exist. But each of those places has people in it that you could talk to, or potential answers. But yeah, that's just, I thought I would mention that while we're doing the planning, if you wanted to talk to anyone in particular.
You said there was a ranger station?
Yes.
It could be interesting to ask a ranger about this loon riddle, consult them for their opinion. I also have my the man with the plan hold that I have not burned yet, which I could maybe burn in order to get some I don't know, momentary inspiration. But I also think it would be cool if Tyler would consult his fire familiar about this particular puzzle.
In terms of the ranger station, it might be useful to get supplies like a bear trap or something, just to immobilize. But
I guess my other thought was just like, do we want to do something about like not having the entire town gather to come to this festival? Like I kind of had an idea of like, what if we just go spook people or something to kind of like get people away from this huge gathering tonight.
Yeah, like disperse the crowd.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, though. I think it is kind of a boon, because if everyone is here, we can kind of almost guarantee that the monster is going to come here. You know what I mean?
And of course, there's the movie showing, which is Motel Hell. So you could sabotage Motel Hell so that it's not a good movie. Well, it already isn't, but you know what I mean.
I think it makes sense what you said, Tommy/Mikey, to go consult the daughter of the former and also the current medical examiner, but just to see if we could. There's a chance that she knows that her dad, helped in the past, so maybe there will be an extra cadaver that we can possibly use.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
go.
what's the goal with you going to talk to Dr. Kipchetti? Is it to get a brain? Is it to learn information? I've heard a lot of different things.
Yeah, I guess it would be to get more information. Although, as I think about it, I'm not really sure that we need that much more information, to be honest, about what these types of beings are. I think we understand that there are malevolent spirits that have periodically attacked this town that attempt to steal, human body parts. And I think what we really need to understand is what's their weakness, how to defeat them, or I don't know, maybe in the case of tonight, how to distract them or something like that. So I don't know if the medical records would have any, I don't know, particularly interesting information after some further thought.
Yeah, I guess my thought was more either getting body parts to trap them, or does her family have records, because if they've trapped them before in the past, maybe they have records about how they did that. But
yeah, that could work.
But it's also all the records and stuff you could want are in the HQ. So you have access to those and you can ask me questions contingent upon them. But to get a body part, you could definitely do that. Yeah,
and do we think, Johnny, could you repeat what you said about the past where the doctor gave a hand? Did the hand, was it for distraction purposes, or because if we can defeat the monster using what it wants, there's obviously a way to use the brain to not only trap but also to kill. I just don't know. I'm trying to think of the how
so
to do that.
The gatherer that was the main case study in the logbooks is slightly different than the one y'all apparently are facing, because that one seemed to have been more of a master of kind of tricks and disguises and sleight of hand. And this one appears to be far more like a bull in a china shop. So there's different kind of sub, kind of subcategories of what the monsters are. So there's gatherers, and then there's rampagers, I think is what we said. And so this is a gatherer, but it is a devourer in addition. Mm-hmm. So it's it's not the sleight of hand expert. It's the way it gathers is by eating. And the last time you saw it eat, I'll remind you, you saw those footprints, right, as it was walking away. And the footprints changed. And so it's something about the other one was lured with hands, and this one can probably similarly be lured with brains, but it's also what happens when it eats the brains.
Yeah. Do you think that obviously after eating half of an adult human male, it got full. But I'm thinking and not only did it get full, it became somewhat seemingly lethargic. So if we could get it to eat more, if we could, turn it into a glutton, if we could just, I don't know, after it eats the first brain, the second brain, the third brain, it's getting slow. It's slowing down. It's obviously still powerful, but I'm just thinking if we somehow force feed this guy, is there a way that too much food could kill it? Too much of a good thing?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
I like that. But just I guess what's our plan for, let's say, that Adriana or wherever we go to get this food is what the fuck are you talking about?
We need 20 brains.
Yeah.
Not only do we need 20 corpses, but we need to find a way for, I don't know, this thing not to get like ravenous and like start attacking, you know.
It just seemed to slow down after one. So I'm assuming
For
like,
sure.
if it eats
2.
2, 3 brains, like
Yeah.
obviously it's also getting full, but like I'm just thinking, especially even if after it eats one, we know that it gets weaker. We know that it gets slower. So at least temporarily we may be able to stop it. And once we have it stopped, once we have it in our eyesight, and once everyone else can presumably see it, maybe they'll disperse as a result of that.
Yeah.
And, we won't have to worry so much about it being so bull in a china shop, more so like bull that just got hit with a tranquilizer, perhaps.
Yeah. I think that is an interesting thread to pull on. I think you guys could potentially go leverage your existing knowledge of or relationship with Adriana to try and see if she'll lend some cadaver parts to this noble cause. I think Mystic Mikey would be compelled by this riddle and would want to try to solve it. So I think maybe we like split screen for a little bit. You guys go do that, and I might like go to the ranger station or something like that and see if there might be like a naturalist or something like that who can support me in this in the solving of this riddle.
I was also thinking in terms of the riddle, not only would the ranger station be good, but because Johnny said we don't even need to know much about ornithology in the first place, the high school, especially because you're of high school age and teachers are nerds. Like there might be like, the quiz teacher who's like, oh my God, I love riddles. I don't know.
Hey man, I lettered in Quiz Bowl in high school, so true fact. What time is it, Johnny?
I said last time it was about like 3 p.m. And
okay.
all of that conversation could have taken 0 minutes. So, it's like a few hours till nightfall. It is like starting to tend toward later in the autumn. So it's like, the sun sets earlier than it might in the summer, but you do still have some time.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll go to the high school and maybe I'll visit like the newspaper editor or something like that. See if they have like a puzzles editor or something who might be riddle inclined in a way that Mystic Mikey is not.
Okay. Yeah. So Mystic Mikey is heading to Moonfork HS. And Lark and Clinton, are you both going together to do we want to say like we could say Dr. Kipchetti is just at home, or we could say that she's like on a shift at maybe the small municipal hospital, whatever you all would like.
She could also be at the Harvest Festival too. I mean, if everyone's there,
Yeah, I like it at the festival. That works out. So let's start with Mystic Mikey. We'll kind of jump back and forth here. Mikey, you sidle up to the Moonfork High School. It's on the northern side of town, representing kind of the northernmost point of the town limits. And you see above this kind of pretty simple, blocky building. It says Home of the Vampires, Moonfork High School.
Cool.
And you walk on in and you hear nothing. You see empty halls. The doors are unlocked. There's someone sweeping the floors. And you realize it is the weekend. So what you do hear, though, is kind of echoing down this long main hallway. You hear the swish of that mop. But you also hear kind of voices echoing from one of the classrooms, not too many doors down. But it seems like there's just one group kind of here on the weekend.
Well, I guess I'm kind of curious to clock this sweeping situation. I guess we forgot it was Saturday or whatever. But I don't know. I want to go talk to the janitor and just see what's up with him. A fellow working man.
Okay, so the janitor is like farther down the hallway than the classroom. So you kind of walking on these tiled floors. You kind of your rubber sneakers squeak a little bit on the freshly cleaned floors, and you walk past kind of the voices as you get closer, and then farther away, you hear them. They're kind of excitedly talking about some kind of new technology and rigging up VCRs, which kind of catches your ear. But you proceed on to the janitor, who you realize is Maxwell With, who is he's the town undertaker and sexton at Memorial Hill, the one who just buried Paige Lark. You recognized him from the day before, but he also cleans the school on the weekends because it's a small town. So he is known to be kind of an oddball, and you sidle up to him. He's wearing like a nice blue coverall with his name tag, Maxwell, on the front, and he looks up from his mopping and goes, "Hey, what do you want?"
Hey man, I recognize you from the funeral the other day. What are you doing here?
Hey, yeah, little green kid.
Yeah, that's me.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I doing here? I'm working. You know, another day, another floor to clean, another body to bury. That's what I say.
Dude, I hear that. I mean, my motto is another day, another pamphlet. Hey, listen. So you work at like the cemetery or something like that?
Yeah, work up on Memorial Hill. That's right. That's my happy place.
Nice. Interesting. Is have any don't take this the wrong way, but have any like body parts gone missing lately or anything like that?
Body parts, you say, huh? Well, typically my job just involves putting the bodies in the ground, not
Sure.
checking on their parts. It's an interesting question, though.
Any unearthed graves or anything like that?
Unearthed graves. No, not that I remember.
Got it. Listen,
Yeah, I'm listening.
never mind.
All right, kid.
But hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna say I scribbled the riddle down on like a notepad.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm just showing him to him. I'm like, does this mean anything to you?
Interesting. Reminds me of when I heard at camp. Do you know what can go through the green glass door?
I sure do.
Wait, you're the alien kid, right? Little green kid.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about how in 1981 my gerbil, Luther, was abducted?
No, but I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so one day I was, let's just say I had the company of the softer sex in my apartment, and I put a veil over Luther's cage because it was a studio, and I didn't like him watching. So
I get that.
So during climax, this light shined through the window, and it was the most beautiful moment of like pleasure and pain and disaster, and it was in Technicolor. The moment was absolutely thrumming with energy. And I thought there was a storm outside. I thought it was a crack of lightning through the window, but I'll be damned. After I, cleaned myself up and walked over to my dear Luther's cage and pulled the veil off, he was nowhere to be found.
Huh.
Now I worry that he has for 16 years been imprisoned on some kind of alien vessel bound for who knows where.
I mean, that totally sounds something like what an alien would do. I mean, they're known to be a little bit mischievous and like to play little pranks on people.
Do they ever watch?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Are you interested in that sort of thing?
I mean, I don't know. I felt awakened in that moment. Awakened and
Oh.
scared.
I mean, new experiences can often be a little bit scary, but if you felt some sort of excitement, maybe that's a sign that, it could be the right direction for you.
Thanks, kid. He
You're
goes
welcome.
back to his sweeping.
I scribble that down as material for my next pamphlet, and I'm gonna squeak on over to the a buzzing classroom.
Yeah, so in the classroom, you see it sounded like a lot more voices, but it turns out to just be 3 individuals. They've got 3 separate VCRs in front of them on the desks, which they've kind of arranged in this, rough circle, and they are chattering excitedly while they're taking them apart and kind of reading this manual that they are, kind of jostling over in an excited, kind of boyish way, in the way that, like, when you're impatient and your friend is looking at something and you just grab it from them. And 2 of them are wearing pretty thick-rimmed glasses, and the other one is wearing like a striped shirt and has a bowl cut. So the thick-rimmed glasses, one has really long hair, one has kind of a closed crop, and the bowl cut one, who appears to be kind of like the leader, is kind of trying to get the other 2 under control. Hey guys, we've got a job to do here.
I'm just gonna kind of knock on the door, somewhat conspicuously, and go, "Sorry, I couldn't help but notice. What are you guys doing in here?"
We're trying to build the world's greatest VCR.
Well, I mean, I know how to build a VCR. If you don't mind me kind of jumping in here, I'd love to lend a hand. I'm Mikey. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Well, I'm Jason, says the one with the striped shirt and the bowl cut. And then the other 2 kind of turn around in unison. And one goes, "I'm Tim." And the other one goes, "And I'm Jim." And then Jason jumps back in and says, and you could be the 4th member of the AV club if you wanted to be.
Well, I mean, nothing would delight me more than being the 4th member of the AV club. I do have to just... Yeah, I would love to be in the AV club. Let's just leave it at that for now.
Huh, interesting. What were you going to say?
Don't worry about it. Hey, have you guys... are you guys familiar with... You guys ever solve riddles? If you guys might want to take a look at this riddle, I might be able to help you with this VCR.
I mean, just to be clear there, you said your name was Mikey?
Yes, I did say that.
Just to be clear there, Mikey, like, we can all build VCRs. Like, we're not your run-of-the-mill high school students. I said we're trying to build the world's greatest VCR.
Yeah, I can help you build the world's greatest VCR.
Really?
Without 100%. No, without any shadow of a doubt, I can do that.
Jim and Tim turn to you and say in unison, "Then show us your skills."
Okay. I guess I can act under pressure, maybe to try and build the world's greatest VCR.
Yeah, I mean, just to like be clear here, they're not asking you to build the world's greatest right now. They're more just they're asking you to show them, kind of your exciting tech skills.
Got it.
So like the in-narrative reason why you're acting under pressure is because like you grab some tools and some materials and you're gonna try to like whip something up real fast that'll kind of wow them.
Okay. I am going to build a maybe instead of acting under pressure in this moment, I would be like, I'm going to try to supply them with an idea for building the world's greatest VCR.
Sure.
Okay.
You could be like trying to circle something in the textbook, but just give me what you're doing in the narrative and then
Sure.
roll.
Mikey is talking excitedly in the sort of way that, like, I don't know, like a chemistry major would like talk to you about like their homework that like you just totally don't understand, you know, but it's like you're like, cool, man, like sounds good, that's awesome. About basic home mechanics. And I'm like, he like cracks open this like manual, I guess, and he's like, so my modification for the basic VCR is I actually pull the tape backward, which allows for a wider projection of the materials, you know, that's on the actual VCR tape. So you actually get it in a much sort of wider format, which can actually unlock visuals that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see on a basic television.
Wait, are you talking? And then they all three at once turn to another and say, widescreen?
Ultra widescreen.
All right, go ahead and roll act under pressure. Or it could actually be like, I don't know, you tell me. I'm wondering also if it's like manipulate someone where like you're giving them a reason. The reason to help you is that you're one of them. You're good at tech.
I actually think Mikey is I think I would be totally convinced that this is real.
Yeah.
So I think this is an act under pressure to like kind of prove my worth. Okay. What's the modifier on act under pressure?
Plus cool.
Okay, I got an 8.
Okay, yeah. All mixed successes are pretty chill. On a 7 to 9, the keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay. So basically what you're asking for is help with the riddle.
Listen, guys, if you... we can continue to go down this road. I'll let you use my personal workshop to continue to build this VCR out.
All right, show me the riddle.
All right,
says Jason.
I slide it over on the table. For what it's worth, the janitor out there, I asked him about this before. He mentioned something about a green glass door. I don't know if that's related at all, but...
what goes through the green glass door? That's some elementary school shit. And Jim kind of snatches it away. Or was that Tim? I said Tim and Jim. Yeah. Jim snatches it away. He's the one with the low voice and the long hair and the spectacles. And he looks at it and he goes, and this is going to be the worst outcome option. He goes, I'll tell you what. I don't like spoiling puzzles, but I'll give you one number.
Okay.
You said this is a 2-lock combination?
Mm-hmm.
One of the numbers is 0. He hands it back. And then he grabs the manual from you and starts pouring over where like the places you underlined and circled.
All right. Listen, guys, I gotta go. I'm usually out in the town square, so just hit me up when you want to use my workshop, and we can help, make the world's first ultra widescreen VCR machine.
Yeah, they start chattering away excitedly again, kind of going over the schematics, maybe that you drew up a little bit to augment what the current book has diagrammed, and you feel somewhat frustrated that Jim knew the answer and didn't tell you all the way, but you also feel a begrudging respect for a fellow puzzler and a fellow tech nerd. Yeah. Let's switch on over to Clinton and Lark. You're kind of sidling back up to the festival, walking through the crowds, and you find Dr. Kipchetti with her young daughter, who is doing one of those games where, how at the carnival there were those duck games where you could like pick up a duck and you get a number and you get a prize for that. The little girl is doing that, but instead of ducks, there are like pumpkins floating down in the water. And I assume Dr. Kipchetti knows both of you, but the nature of y'all's relationships, like you tell me, like, how do you know Adrian? She would be around Lark's age. So like kind of early 40s.
Sorry, we're split screening out of me now and we're going back to those other guys. The other guys?
Yeah, but we'll say you're like walking back to the festival then, because you know they're there.
Okay.
I maybe I went to high school with her. Could that, if she's my age, same small town.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll say like you're friendly, unless you wanted like to have it be more of a big deal, and maybe you're like, you know, past lovers, or you hate each other, or
future
you're
lovers,
frenemies, future lovers potentially. And then Clinton, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that Adrian knows that I was kind of associated more with her dad, and but also kind of just more knows me as kind of the town creep or ghost.
Yeah, town weirdo with kind of like that tinge of like kind of feeling bad for you because nobody really knows where your family went. So you kind of both walk up to her, and she turns, you know, still supervising her daughter. She actually has like her hands on her shoulders, kind of peering over her contentedly, but she turns to you, kind of a little half turn, and goes, "Hi, Lark. Hey, Clinton. How's it going?"
Adrian, how long has it been? So good to see you.
I guess like half a year. Whenever you were back in town last. So sorry about your mom again. That was a really nice wake that Sandy hosted, though. It meant a lot to be a part of that day.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. It's been a heavy couple days, couple weeks, but at least we have the Harvest Festival, right? That's right in Moonfork's alley. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, you always have had that dry sense of humor, that sarcasm, Lark. Yeah, I mean, it's fun for the kids, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate that aspect. But it's actually funny that we're running into you here because we do have a bit of a problem. Not exactly a kid-friendly problem, but it is pressing. So we were wondering if we could get like a minute of your time, maybe?
Yeah, sure. She kind of like looks to just kind of it's a small town, right? She turns around and looks like to see who else is there. And she kind of tags in a friend just to like watch her little Lucy for a second. And she goes, "Mama's going to be right over there." Okay. And you all walk over to, you're just kind of at the base of one of the swales, which is kind of behind a lot of like the main drag of the carnival games and all that stuff. So you're kind of out of earshot of the general crowd. But she says, "Yeah, what's up? Is it something to do with do you have like a medical question or?"
Kind of. So you know what my mom did for a living, and I know what your dad did for a living. But past like 48 hours, I kind of found out that my mom was doing a little bit of extracurriculars, and there seems to be an imminent danger. There is some sort of monster running around town right now, and it just took out a man right outside Valentine's, right in front of me.
You mean Herschel Jackson?
Yes, Herschel.
Yeah, Lark. I mean, I examined what was left of his body.
Exactly. Sorry for mansplaining that a little bit, but
yeah, no problem.
I'm still coming to grips with it myself. Point is, apparently in the past, there's been another sort of encounter, and your dad was so kind to help my mom and the rest of the Helms folk obtain, something that might be interesting for the monster as opposed to a living source. So we were wondering if that would be something that was possible.
Are you talking about, so the extracurricular stuff you're talking about, that was like the monster hunting?
Yeah.
That our parents were on about so much.
I'm not so read in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known there's something strange about this town, and I'll be honest, when I saw that torso and legs that came in, I mean, I was spooked, Lark. I'm sure you were spooked too, witnessing what happened. Are you sure this isn't just like some creep running around pretending to be a monster, but it's really just, kind of the monster of humanity within us, and are you sure it's not just a killer?
I'll be honest. Initially, I would have, thought the same thing, except the only thing is my associate here, Clinton, who you're familiar with, seemed to kind of know this was coming, first of all. Second of all, I did see with my own eyes, and there was no metaphor involved. It was more of a situation of one large fellow leaning over, lurching over, and biting a human in half. So I don't know of anything that could do that. And I am pretty worried that same monster is headed for us in the next couple hours, because this is where everyone is, and we need some sort of distraction. So we figured we might come to you. And Clinton, he's got even more information than I do. So,
and this was the night of Paige's funeral, right?
Yes, it was.
Would you excuse us for a moment, Clinton? And she kind of pulls you aside, Lark, and goes like, Lark, are you sure you're okay? I know a really good counselor just one town over. If you need like mental health resources or anything, like,
I do appreciate that.
You're running around with this guy, and she kind
of. Hey, that's my associate, as I said earlier. But as I said, I don't know if those two are mutually exclusive. Like, I definitely could use some help in the near future, but I also need help in the immediate future, because this is pretty. I have a pretty good feeling about this, and I'm not, as you would say, a believer. We have a third member of this ragtag group named Mystic Mikey. I think his name is Mike.
Michael Wazowski?
Something like that. Funny name, but
the little boy that Brett and Donna took in. Brent and Donna, sorry.
Yeah, he's got a hue about him. Learning to love him, but
I think that's him jogging up now. And you see just like this, he's like at a full sprint, just with like holding the Post-it note. And I also realized, y'all, that since the setting, it's like 1997, we predate Monsters, Inc.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
So Mystic Mikey was the first Mike Wazowski.
He's actually the inspiration for Mike Wazowski. Okay.
It's all coming together.
Direct line from real life Mike Wazowski to the little green circle monster from Monsters Inc.
So Lark, you and Dr. Kipchetti kind of rejoin the group with Clinton. Mystic Mikey runs up and she goes, "Listen, I'll help if I'm able to. Mr. Brooks, is there something else you wanted to add, or you maybe?" And she kind of gestures over to Mikey, who's like out of breath.
Hey guys! I missed you! Who is this?
Mikey, this is a doctor. She's the chief medical examiner for the town, and we're trying to figure this out.
Oh, okay. Nice. Hey, I show her the riddle. Do you know anything about this?
I mean, this is Paige's handwriting. She was also your mom's doctor, so.
Right.
But other than that, no. We've been pretty abstract so far. Why do you need my help?
Let's cut the small talk. We need your help getting some bait to stop this monster, and you're the only person who has access to it. Your dad, 20 years ago, would have said yes in an instant.
Yes. Okay, what kind of bait? Like some kind of food product, or like sugar? What does it want?
There's no pretty way to say this, but we know this monster loves brains. Human brains.
I I can't give you brain. What? You're
This whole
asking me. You're asking me to like secret brains out of the morgue and what? Give them to you?
Is there anyone who's scheduled to be cremated who might not miss their brain?
This
is pressing.
I can't believe you're asking me this. This is gonna have to be a manipulate someone. And I mean, if it were D&D, the check would be super high. But I suppose they're all the same here. So if you get a 10 plus, you could potentially get some brains.
Is there any way, like, I mean, obviously there is no check. And like you said, if it is a 10 plus, but I think that the fact that there is a family history of doing this exact thing, and also the urgency she might see in my face, especially because having known me for all these years and a quick conversation, I'm not fucking around.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's coming right now.
I think it's just like she could like lose her license, and like there's a lot that could come along with, secretly defiling corpses. I would just say, like, if you get a 10 plus, there's stuff she can do for you, and otherwise she's going to dismiss, pretty outright. So this is a pretty clear manipulate someone. It's a roll plus charm. And I think since Lark's making the main plea here, you can do plus sharp instead of charm, though, right, Lark?
Yeah. Okay.
Could we? I mean, I'm down to toss him a help out or attempt to toss a help out.
Yeah, let's see the roll first.
Some puppy dog eyes from Mikey.
Yeah.
Please. Okay. Not good. 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
So with a +1 with help won't even do it. This is an interesting moment for 2 reasons. The first is mark experience, which I'm supposed to tell y'all every time you fail. And whoever rolls like a failure should mark experience on their sheet, and that's how you level up and get like, better stuff. So if I don't remember to say that when you fail, correct me. And if listeners, you're listening in, send an email if I don't say whether or not to mark experience on a fail. But anyway, it's also a moment that I wanted to bring up. There's a thing in this game, which I'm not sure how far along y'all read in the manual, called luck,
Right.
which is essentially you have a limited amount of it. And you can use it in big moments. It's not necessarily these kinds of things. Like there are other ways you could trap this monster. If you wanted to use it now, you could. But like, for instance, if a monster is going to like do a big hit on you, you can use luck to like not take any damage. Or, if you fail a big roll where it's like you're trying to convince like the whole town that like this is an important thing that they should take seriously, you can use luck. And that just makes it an automatic success. You wouldn't mark experience then because it would be a success. But I believe you only have 7 luck points, and really you only have 6, because if you use all 7, you're what's called doomed. And doomed characters, I can just take hard moves on them whenever I want. So it's just like you could be walking along the street and like this thing could come and like rip your head off, right? So you probably don't want to be doomed, but hey, it's up to you. And luck doesn't regenerate or anything. So over the whole time we'll be playing Moonfork, like you'll just have that much luck. But anyway, that's up to y'all. Tell me what you want to do as far as like, well, not helping, but if you want to use luck. And then if not, it would be a hard move against you. So what's the decision here, Lark?
Maybe, but no, I think I'm gonna hold it. I think I'm just gonna get this hard move, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the hard move in this case just takes the form of like Adrian kind of like backing off and being like, I need to go. Good seeing you again, I guess, and kind of like jogs off, like pretty wary at this point. And you realize that like this could have consequences as far as like in your friend group, in like the people you're talking to, where it's like this group of weirdos is not just like going around like claiming things, like she kind of gave you the look of like, holy shit, like you're serious. Like you want me to cut a brain out of someone. And she kind of like runs back to her kid and kind of pulls her away. That is the fallout. What do you do?
Well, sorry, fellas, kind of burned that bridge. Did you get anything, Mikey, or?
Well, first of all, I met a weird janitor who's also the works at the morgue, I guess, or not at the morgue, at the cemetery. Yeah, he's like this. Yeah, interesting guy. Told me some really personal information. So that was kind of cool. Maybe he had a hidden meeting. I don't know. It really is beyond me, and I'm still thinking about it. Then I met a group of children who are working on building a VCR, which, as you guys know, is one of my personal specialties. And they gave me a hint to helping solve this riddle, which is that they think one of the numbers on this combination is a 0. So, yeah, that's kind of where I landed. But I don't know. Clock's ticking here. I think we may need to, I don't know, make some progress. I'd gladly seek some divine intervention, Clinton, if you want to consult your fire spirit for some guidance.
I think it's time to go and consult beyond our realm.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a fireplace at the HQ, and we can go start a fire there.
You could go back to your house and start a fire. You could use your lighter. I'm trying to think, like, would there be a fireplace underneath Valentine's, like a secret chimney maybe? I mean, that's possible if you wanted to build it in.
Or something.
Yeah, furnace.
Is there any way that there would be like a bonfire at this harvest festival? Like, I feel like a big fire might be more.
Yeah, I actually really like that. They probably wouldn't get that going. Like, we could say it's closer to nighttime now, and they're like starting that up to like for the vibes as sunset's happening, like a sunset bonfire. We could do that, or if you wanted it to still have more time, you could just go back to Clinton's cabin and do it. But I don't know if Clinton wants to have friends over.
Not these friends yet.
If it was a bonfire type situation, would it only appears to Clinton, right? Like, it's not like everyone would in the crowd be like, "Oh my god."
Exactly.
Fire.
Right.
Okay.
I actually like that. So let's say there's like a little, it's definitely fake, but like a pumpkin patch set up where like kids and families can go and like pick out their pumpkin for carving and painting and all that good stuff. But just sort of adjacent to that is an area where kids and adults as well are like roasting up marshmallows on a little fire. I wouldn't say it's like a bonfire yet, because that seems more of a nighttime thing in my mind. I would say it's more just like a fire for this s'more station. And Clinton, you kind of start walking somewhat like wobbly, almost like you're drawn over to the s'mores station with Lark and Mystic Mikey in tow. And you see Cronoa, the face of Cronoa, kind of crop up in this flame. And you can see as a child sticks like a skewer with a marshmallow into his face, he kind of goes,
that tickles.
I kind of go kind of kneel close by the fire, kind of weirdly close to this kid, and kind of just I'm going to start talking to the fire.
Yeah, it's like a somewhat, big event. Like there's probably, 10 or so people milling around the fire, but Clinton goes and like kneels on both knees in front of it, very close, like starts to sweat almost instantly, and goes, what do you say to Cronoa?
Cronoa, we are in need of some desperate help here. The clock is ticking. We have this riddle that we don't know. Please give me some guidance. How can we stop this monster who's returned to terrorize our town?
Don't you have all the pieces that you need, Clinton? I've been trying to be helpful, Clinton. I couldn't come when you were calling me in the forest. I couldn't get out, but Clinton, I'm here to help if there's anything else you would like to ask.
I'm gonna ask, how can we stop this monster? We're trying to trap it, and once we trap it, how can we do harm to this monster? How can we stop it from terrorizing the town?
Clinton, when it feeds, it gets sluggish, weaker, and its skin can be pierced somewhat easily by another one of its kind. As long as you do one of these things, you may just be victorious, and if you do both, you might have an easier time. But you already knew that, didn't you? Yes, I can see it now. I'm looking into your head. You knew both of those things. Then why come to Cronoa? Why now when I'm getting my tickle on, Clinton?
Where could we find another monster to pierce the beast once we have them?
Well, there are 2 places, Clinton. I guess 3 if you wanted to get creative. One of those ways is outside of the current timeline. It's pretty far in the future. I think you'll know it eventually. And then the 2 other ways are right in front of you. The first is, well, trying to get to the literal bottom of whatever the heck that old woman left for you, and then the other one is the monster itself, Clinton, but you could have figured that out.
Okay. Well, you're mostly telling me what I need, what I already know. So I'm pretty annoyed, and I'm going to go and kind of extinguish the fire, or kind of like kick some dirt on the fire and kind of walk away.
You kick dirt on the fire, and it goes out, and at first you could tell this kid, as you kind of like snap out of your reverie, you can tell that this kid was like asking his parents like, what is this man doing? And then when he kicks dirt on the fire, it kind of like pretty much goes out, and it's just like a number of smoldering embers right now, and the kid like just starts crying because its marshmallow was only half toasted, and you can see his dad kind of gives you a mean look, Clinton, and goes like, "What the hell, man?" and kind of like pulls the kid away, and it's a festive time here at the Harvest Festival.
Weird America, would you give me this one thing? It's medieval, but it's as modern as something on the radio or the phone you can't put down. Weird America, I'll be seeing you around. Weird America, I'll be seeing you on the Swales today.
Soil Day Radio.
For a community of weirdos built on words. Find out more at soildayradio.com.